ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to Crandon, Wisconsin for the third round of the True Value Off-Road Series. Hello again, everybody. I'm Marty Reed, working alongside with Ivan, the Iron Man Stewart. If you've been with us for the first two rounds of racing, you know that in Class 1/1600 and 11S, they're low horsepower, but extremely competitive because it puts a premium on driver capability.
Well, it really does, Marty. As you say, not very much horsepower, not very much suspension. The drivers really got to take advantage of this track. They got to learn the rough spots, their braking points, don't make mistakes, get down to the hard ground. Really a driver's race.
Now, we also have two other classes, 9, 10, and 13. They are a lot more horsepower, especially those big 13s. That's non-production pickup trucks, V8 horsepower, V8 speed. For more on that story, let's go down to pit lane, and the third member of our broadcast team, here's Rick Johnson.
If a driver comes in to make a quick change, I'll be here to give you the report. The unique thing about Crandon is the lap times are long enough that a driver can come in, switch a tire, cool off his motor, whatever he has to do, and get back out on the course before losing a complete lap.
Thanks, Rick. One thing we're going to keep our eye on is the weather. The clouds are a bit on the gray side. Temperature 80 degrees and a 60% chance of rain. And you can see they're off in the distance now, and hopefully they'll stay there. Let's take a look at the 2-mile layout here at Crandon.
Marty, this is the longest, fastest track of the circuit. As we know, that long Oklahoma land race start, that long straightaway into that fast right-hand corner.
The fastest turn in all of off-road racing. You flat-footed at speeds of 90 miles an hour. Second area, heading down to the gravel pit.
Back in the gravel pit. That's a good passing area, Marty. Back into a hard left-hand corner. In a hard, big jump back in toward that finish line area.
And after you get done with that section, you come around past Parsons Pond and also the back straightaway. Two other areas where a driver can pass very quickly if he's got the horsepower. Now we're getting ready for action here in Class 1/1600, and this is a huge field. There are a total of 22 machines entered in this event.
Marty, they use an air-cooled VW type motor here, 1600cc, a restrictor plate under the carburetor to keep everybody equal. Minimum weight 1,300 pounds, and these cars make just about 80 horsepower.
And our True Value starting field includes the man who has won the first two events here. That's Todd Attic. Greg Smith, he likes this track. He'll be in the number 792. Also, Dan Badu, 705 will be his number in the starting field. Mike Seafelt, he'll be in the number 797. And also out there, Mark Steinhardt, his car number 713. Gordon Zima, the number 673, also in the True Value starting field, along with Bill Scott. He'll be in vehicle number 624. Taking a look at the rest of this 22 vehicle starting field, pick out your favorite driver and hold on to your seat, because 22 vehicles heading for turn one just won't be able to fit.
Marty, a real driver's class here. These guys are really going to have to be concentrated. They're off.
And as the green flag flies, we'll sit back, hold our breath along with you, and see who survives turn number one. First turn, it looks like Greg Smith is going to take the early lead, and everybody looks like they're going to make it clean.
They did make it through there, Marty. Amazing again.
Now, as you said, this is definitely a driver's class. These cars equally matched. It is really up to the driver to get the maximum out of his equipment. It's Greg Smith first, Todd Attic second, Mike Seafelt is in third, and Mike Notary is in fourth.
One of the tricky things about this track, Marty, is the fact that they've got so much dry, and they've really got some slick areas going to the gravel pit here. You can see Todd Attic slide sideways there. Yeah,
Attic took a look inside Greg Smith, but was unable to get the traction to make any attempt at the pass, and it cost him a little bit. He's dropped back about 3 car lengths to our leader, Greg Smith. Whoa! Traffic jam at the Parkway. Now you're back with the lead pack as they are making their way past what will be the finish line of this race. And your leader still remains Greg Smith, Todd Attic second, Mike Seafelt third.
I'm a little bit amazed at how much Greg Smith has put on Todd Attic, because typically Todd Attic is really tough to beat in this class.
He is 2 for 2 so far this year. No one's been able to beat him at our first 2 stops at Lake Geneva and at Antigo, but still plenty of racing time left here, although the 2 of them have opened up a little more distance between Mike Seefeld in third place.
Marty, driving these cars is so critical to get the shifting points exactly right, because they only make so much horsepower, so much torque. You've got to get those points just right to put any time on anybody.
And the corners become critical, because if you don't carry the momentum around the corner, then it just ruins your straightaway speed.
Absolutely, because they just, again, as we talk about, they don't make that much horsepower. Great drivers class, though.
There is your leader. Again, these guys all taking the left side of the track, and we, as the day goes on, will see drivers taking the right side as well.
And again, I think that's typically because the ground is harder and they get that little bit of horsepower right down to that hard-packed ground opposed to being that loose, loamy soil.
Greg Smith looking for his first win of the season here on the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing and True Value Off-Road Series event. He is in front of Todd Attic, the man who has beaten him in those two races here in Class 1 1600. Then you get a view there. There is Mike Seefeld in third, Mike Notary in fourth. Seefeld from Sussex, Wisconsin, 24 years old, and doing very well here in today's race. Back to the race for the lead, and Attic is closing.
Todd's getting closer, he is. Marty, we might make note, these guys also will change engines throughout the day and run different classes. There's a lot of different races they can do in the same car.
Looking back, got a bit of a battle beginning to build for 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. Try to pick out some of the numbers. One of the vehicles there is Bill Brown. Back to the lead, and it is getting interesting. Todd Attic is closing on Greg Smith. Greg, age 37. Whoa! Traffic jam again into the final turn. That looks like Mike Skalitsky and Matt Lyon, Mike Warren. Look out, guys. A lot of contact.
Oh, we got a four abreast going through the corner here, Marty.
Boy, and this is where it really gets interesting. Look, getting hung out the dry. That may cost him a place. It looks like it might be Skalitsky. And yes, it is Mike, and he's going to fall back one spot there. But plenty of racing still to go here as these guys will close up on each other one more time. Don't go away. A lot more racing action here in the True Value Off-Road Series here at Crandon, Wisconsin. Today's ESPN Speed World event is brought to you by True Value Hardware. See your True Value Hardware store, because help is just around the corner. And by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car. Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, Rick Johnson is in pit lane, and we're in Crandon, Wisconsin, round number 3 of the True Value Off-Road Series.
Well, I tell you what, Marty, Greg is not getting away from Todd Attic. He is just hanging right in there, isn't he?
Greg Smith still first, Todd Attic in second place and trying to take the lead. These two guys have turned it into a two-car race for the overall win. A lot of action still going on behind these two.
It looks like Todd might get in a little bit deeper, but Greg is able to pull him on the corner. He may have a little bit more power.
Attic from Dixon, Illinois. Now we're looking back into the pack. That's Mike Skalitsky, Gordon Zima. Those two going after each other. And coming through the gravel pit, there is Bill Scott. He's on the outside looking to take a pass. It looks like he may get around. Yes, he's ahead of Skalitsky. And this is a battle for 11th place.
It is, Marty. It's amazing how hard these guys are driving. They've been driving just as hard as any other class in the big trucks. They just don't have quite the horsepower to work with. You know that someday they're just dreaming to be in a big truck.
This is the pack right there that you're looking at. Zima, Scott, Skalitsky, 10th, 11th, and 12th place on the racetrack here in Class 1 1600. And again, these are 1600cc power plants, produce about 80 horsepower, and it truly is one of the classes that's made for drivers, especially if you've got limited dollars. You can get involved in this much cheaper, probably 1/20th of what it would take to go racing in one of the big truck classes.
Absolutely, Marty. Look at the race going on here. This is fantastic.
Greg Smith still in the lead. Todd Attic falling back just a bit as they head down towards the gravel pit turn. It's a 180-degree left-hander, lap traffic. Roy Holmes. Oh, and Holmes gets in the way of Todd Attic. Oh, no, and I bet you Todd would love to talk to Mr. Holmes right now.
Again, remember that that Mr. Holmes does not have a mirror, so he doesn't necessarily know that Todd's back there. So he's driving the line that he wants to drive.
Oh, but he's still holding him up. He's got a feeling back there. You've driven this way, you know, and he still won't let him by.
Well, Todd may have to give him a little bit of a bump. That's off-road racing. He may have to come there and rub his tire a little bit and say, hey, I've got to get by here. I've got to get this guy.
The white flag is out. Whoa, and now they are on top of each other, and with open wheel racing, that can get very dangerous. Boy, he just would not let him by.
No, he was not. That's off-road racing, Marty.
Well, he's lap traffic, and I'm sure there'll probably be a discussion with each of these gentlemen after the race is over. But what it has effectively done, it's allowed Greg Smith to run away, and all Greg has to do now is negotiate the track because we're on the white flag lap. It has taken away Todd Adig's chance at victory.
It really has. He's got to be really, really frustrated.
This is the battle for 10th. John Huss, Mark Kruger, they're going after each other on the race course. This is what I love about this division. There is always somebody trying to pass somebody else for a position out there.
Somebody's always racing.
Look at these two. You'd swear this was for the lead. Going down the straightaway that heads into the gravel pit one more time. Can they make the pass? It's Huss in front of Kruger, and it looks like Huss is going to hold on to it. And he does. So these guys will be coming up for their last lap around. As that battle continues back there, the big question mark will be, can Todd Adig reel in our leader? That's lap traffic in front of Greg Smith. And Smith, looking back, I don't think you can see Todd Adig anywhere to be found.
No, I think he just fell back too much with that lap traffic. I think Greg's only got a couple more corners here. He's going to be the checkered flag, Marty.
Well, Greg took the lead from the very first turn, and we talked about how important getting a great start into turn one. Here it is at Crandon on this 2-mile layout. It has paid big dividends for Greg Smith, and with an assist from lap traffic, he is going to cruise to victory lane as he takes the checkered flag here at Crandon in winning the Class 1 1600 championship and snapping Todd Adig's winning streak at 2 here in the True Value Off-Road Series. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll talk to our winner here at Crandon, Wisconsin. Back at the True Value Off-Road Series, Class 1 1600 action has just been completed, and Greg Smith has snapped Todd Adig's winning streak at 2. He's down in victory lane. Rick Johnson is there with him. Rick?
Greg, a good job. You led it from wire to wire.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. We had a start in the second row, so we had to get around everybody, and we got a good hole shot and came around, started right, got out in the lead, and just kept it there. The Goodyears were grooved up this morning. Jim Alexander and Joe got it all set up for me, and man, oh man, they just hooked because it was pretty slick out there the first couple laps. I don't know if you were able to notice how far we were, how the back ends were hanging out there, but it was pretty nice.
You had a great race with Todd Adig. Were you aware of the situation that happened to him on the last lap, getting tangled with a lap driver?
No, I wasn't. I know he was around. I could see his white hood almost the whole race, and then we got into some lap traffic, and then I kind of lost track of him, to be honest.
Well, congratulations to Greg. We're getting ready now as you look at the huge crowd here at Crandon, Wisconsin. We're getting ready for Class 13 action now. This is non-production pickup action, and this is what it's all about.
Well, I'll tell you what, Marty, this one, it just has to be two-wheel drive, engine mounted in front of the driver, and it can make 500, these make about 500 horsepower.
Now, this is non-production, so they have a lot of freedom. In the Chevrolet starting field, the number 1394 will be Dennis FERDON. Dan Vanden Heuvel will be in the number 1377. Those two guys won the first 2 rounds. Robert Flanagan will be in the number 1369. David Marks in the 1312. Also in the starting field, Jim Moskalik. He'll be in the 1342. Also, we'll find Ed Schultz, his truck number 1331. Then it's Ron James. He'll be driving truck number 1323. And as you look down the rest of this starting field, we will tell you that there are a total of 20 trucks in this lineup. And again, it's never enough to emphasize how important the start is. Here we saw it with Greg Smith. He led from wire to wire and the first race in Class 1 1600. And these big non-production pickups take the green flag.
Boy, they really run, Marty. Let me tell you, lots and lots of horsepower, relatively lightweight.
Well, let's sort it out, and we'll wait for him to survive turn number 1. Little bit of contact, but nothing serious. Right there, a little push. Somebody getting a little sideways, but able to correct it. Joe Zilich is breaking at the top of the screen there. Joe Zilich looks like he is out of the race. Mechanical problems.
Dan VandenHeuvel, I believe, got the lead, didn't he, Marty?
Yes, Dan VandenHeuvel has taken the early lead. Dennis FERDON is second. David Marks is third. Then in fourth place, Jeff Kemp, but he is feeling pressure from Pat Brown, and Brown looking to the inside.
He's coming to the inside. That was a great pass.
Whoa, what a shot of horsepower by Pat Brown as he now takes over fourth position. Terry Severson is behind Camp in sixth place. So now you know who the top six are. Here we are back to the lead pack, and that is VandenHeuvel in front of FERDON and David Marks. Boy, look at the close racing action that we're seeing all the way back here at the end of lap number one. You could basically throw a blanket over the top 20 positions.
Good racing back there, Marty. Always good racing back here.
The lead stretching out a little bit now for the top three. And there we see Jeff Kemp. He is in front of Terry Severson. Severson trying to close down on him, and Robert Flanagan is right behind him. There are the leaders, VandenHeuvel, FERDON, Marks, and Brown.
That's a great shot of the elevation changes here, Marty. A lot of people realize that there's a lot of up and down on this particular course.
2 miles in length here at Crandon. You need lots of horsepower and tremendous staying power. As we now head back on the front straightaway, 2 different strategies here.
Here's a perfect example. Dan VandenHeuvel on the right-hand side, and that looks to be the quickest, Marty.
So VandenHeuvel maintains the lead and looks like he has stretched it a bit over Dennis FERDON here in the Class 13 non-production pickup race as part of the True Value Off-Road Series here in Crandon.
When Dan's truck is just handling beautifully, the best I've seen him handle in a long time. He must have been doing some work on this truck recently.
Dan VandenHeuvel definitely in control of this race, but back in the battle for fourth, there is Terry Severson. He's gotten around Jeff Kemp, and there goes Robert Flanagan around Kemp into turn 2. So the positions are changing. There you see him, 5th, 6th, and 7th. Severson, Flanagan, and Kemp.
That's great passing. There's a good passing. This is Crandon, Wisconsin, where the passing good, fast racing.
Heading down into that 180-degree left-hander known as the gravel pit. And boy, it can come up and bite you. They call it the gravel pit because there's a ton of stones down there that you can literally get kicked up into the cockpit area. Now this battle continues. Severson trying to hold off Robert Flanagan. Camp is right behind them.
Flanagan looks to the outside, the inside. He just can't quite make a move on him yet.
Now all these trucks are 2-wheel drive, so there's no 4-wheel advantage for anybody out here. As these two go after each other, again, you see the course change in undulation. You really have to be able to drive a smooth line. Whoa, wait a minute. That's David Reitz. He's in the pits with a flat tire. See the crew, and boy, if you stop, it's just deadly to your chances.
Oh, Marty, yeah, you just practically, there's no chance then to win the race for sure. You might get finishing points.
The leader is still Dan VandenHeuvel. Dennis FERDON is second, and there is David Marks. He is running well in third place.
Marty, you see these guys making the pass. Not only are they trying to get outside to get a pass, but they're trying to keep the dirt from the guy's tires out of the radiator, out of your face. And believe me, that really hurts with the amount of rocks out here.
This is the battle for 5th right now. That's Terry Severson and Robert Flanagan going after each other.
They're still going at it. Flanagan can't quite get by.
Flanagan seems to be a little looser through the corners. You saw how he fishtailed there?
He did a little sideways, and that cost him. Every time you get that truck sideways, it's just, you're not going forward, it's going to cost you the time. You're going to try the outside now.
Now, let's watch and see who has the better line and who can hold the line. And see, again, in the corners is where Flanagan seems to lose it. Now, is that suspension, or is that the side bite on the tires?
Well, I think it's probably driver more than anything. He's just a little bit frustrated. He goes a little bit deeper, and he just blows his apex. He gets out. This is his mark, goes out that loose stuff.
Try it again. This is the turn right before the finish line area.
Marty, there isn't one other way. I would say if it were me, I'd be a little more aggressive. I'd drive right in there and I'd have to bang him a couple times and let him know, hey, I want by, pal.
Well, I don't think the rough driving committee would like that too much, Ivan.
We'll worry about that later.
So, tips on safe driving from the Iron Man here on the True Value Off-Road Series as we are continuing this battle for 5th place. Terry Severson holding on to the position over Robert Flanagan. And stay with us. When we come back, we'll take you to the conclusion of this race. Dan VandenHeuvel is your leader. Don't go away. Back at Crandon, Wisconsin for the True Value Off-Road Series. Marty Reed along with Ivan Stewart, Rick Johnson in pit lane, and there is your leader, Dan VANDEN, and he has got control of this race, trying to make it 2 out of 3. Whoa, wait a minute. Robert Flanagan has a tire that has gone off his vehicle on the left side, the left front, and he is dropping out of this race. He was running in 6th place.
Oh, that's a shame. Really, really frustrating to have that happen to you.
Now you see race leader Dan VANDEN. Now he's changed his line. He's coming down the other side, right along the pit wall.
He probably realized he's got a little bit of a lead, and he's experimenting a little bit, Marty. He's looking at the different parts of the track, I'm sure.
And he has just gotten past the lap traffic of Don Gregoire. Gregoire looks a little worse for the wear there, like maybe he had some contact out of camera range.
It looks like he didn't get that first corner as clean as we thought he did.
So VANDEN continues to motor on here in the Class 13 non-production pickup race here in Crandon, and doing a wonderful job.
He really is. Appleton, Wisconsin, Dan's from. And he's probably ready to step up into one of the bigger Class 4 trucks someday.
Well,
maybe.
they have run in Class 8 competition in the past, but because of the cost factor, decided to drop back into Class 13. And we've seen a couple of drivers, Dennis FERDON being another one, who have done that same thing. And there's Dennis. He's coming up on the lap traffic, and he's in 2nd place. And it's paid dividends for them.
That's true.
The lap traffic still not a factor as far as FERDON. I don't think there's going to be enough time for Dennis to get back in contact with VANDEN unless VANDEN has a problem. Whoa, a big spin. That's Darren Vandrell, and look at the tire come off his truck, and the 1341 is literally out of this race.
Well, we had some fire underneath that truck too, Marty, for something.
Well, let's take a look as he spins around. The tire heading straight for the camera position. Luckily does no damage. The white flag is out. The last lap for our leader, Dan VANDEN.
I'm sure he's keeping an eye on Dennis, and he's just, again, a matter of getting around the racetrack, get back that checkered flag, and collect some points and collect a check.
VANDEN in control, and again, lap traffic slowing down. 2nd place, Dennis FERDON. FERDON having a tough time getting around Don Gregoire, and Gregoire still holding on to the race line, and I'm sure FERDON's not real happy with that either.
Well, I think he probably settled into 2nd place. Well, you know what I think he'll do is just go ahead and settle for 2nd today and get back to the finish line.
Well, it went this way. VANDEN won back at Lake Geneva in round number 1. Dennis FERDON won round number 2 at Inigo, and here in round number 3 at Crandon, it looks like it's going to be VANDEN again staking claim to the top spot in Class 13. Now, he's got lap traffic coming up in front of him there. That's David Reitz. So we'll have to wait and see if he can maneuver, or maybe he'll just let Reitz finish it out in front, because he's got control of the race. Don't want to do anything stupid.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I see a little bit of smoke out of Dan's truck, but I think he's all right. That truck is just free. I cannot believe how well that truck handles.
The rear end sits so low. Could it be tire rubbing?
Well, no, I don't think so. I think it's the way he's got the truck set. Now, well, now you could be right there. I see the same smoke, Marty.
So Reitz moves over nicely, lets the leader come through, and Dan VANDEN over the last jump is going to win for the 2nd time in 3 events on the True Value Off-Road Series. He makes the final turn. There is the checkered flag, and your winner, Dan VANDEN from Appleton, Wisconsin. So when we come back, we'll talk to our winner here in Crandon, Wisconsin, the True Value Off-Road Series, round number 3. Stay with us. Class 13 action here in the True Value Off-Road Series from Crandon, Wisconsin. Dan VANDEN the winner, Dennis FERDON in 2nd, and on down through the top 10. Let's go to Victory Lane, where Rick Johnson is caught up with our winner.
It's been feast or famine. Dan, either a win or a DNF.
Yeah, it's tough. Either you win, you push them so hard to win, something's bound to break sometime, so you can't win them all.
Well, you've had wins, and you've had 1 DNF. What was the key to bring you to Victory Circle this weekend?
A lot of hard work between myself, my brother-in-law, and my family. We put it all together. We came out here for one thing only, and that is to take the checkered flag.
Well, our congratulations also to Dan VANDEN on his 2nd win of the season. We're getting ready now for another one of the entry-level classes, 11S. And boy, what a bundle of cars that we have in this division.
Marty, they are really revved up. Engines are air-cooled, 1,585cc, all stock parts, minimum weight about 1,300 pounds, and make just about 50 horsepower.
This, as we said, entry-level, and there are 31 in the True Value starting field. Dan Badu is one of those, and there at Saginaw, Michigan, his home. Mark Oberg in the 1141. Eagle River, Wisconsin is Mark's home. And 1152 is John Heuven from Little Chute, Wisconsin. John Wiggins also in the starting field, age 31 from De Pere, Wisconsin. Larry Beyer also in the field. He's from Slinger, Wisconsin, just turning 30 years old. Lonnie Andrews also out there. Lonnie from North Star, Michigan at the age. And at age 19, Billy Scott from Interlochen, Michigan, also in this 31-car field. And as you look at the rest of the field, pick out your favorite driver and fasten your seatbelts, because this start, you can see how wide our camera has had to go to get everybody who wants to try and get the right angle to head for turn number 1.
Marty, you got to remember, these guys are driving their heart out. They drive just as hard as any other class.
There's the green flag, and we're underway as 31 cars head for turn number 1. Let's sit back and watch. And listen to the crowd. They're loving it already. Oh, little contact there, but everybody survived so far.
Marty, if we get everybody through this first corner, it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Through turn number 1, so far so good. Oh, look close to Parsons Pond. No, the vehicle won't fall. Can't make out a number there.
I think we're going to do it. I see somebody shut off to the left-hand side here, but I think you're going to make it through the first corner here.
All right, Mark Oberg, let's sort it out for you. He has taken the early lead. John Heuven is in second, and he is closing quickly. Then for third, John Wiggins, Dan Badu. And that is a great battle with Glenn Matthews also coming in there as well.
Again, whenever we talk about getting out in the loose stuff, you just can't do that in these little cars. They get out there, they try and make a pass, but they're just not the horsepower to pull them through that loamy soil.
Boy, there is the battle for the lead coming right into view. Mark Oberg and John Heuven. Oberg in the 1141, Heuven in the 1152, and right behind them, third, fourth, and fifth. Now, the track seems a little bit on the damp side in some areas, and again, that could play havoc with these guys.
Well, I'm just noticing that, too. What it does, it keeps the dust down, but it also makes it awful slick for these little cars. These guys are going to have a handful for a while and dries out a little bit.
Oberg, as he heads down to the hard left-hand corner, is in control of the race in front of Heuven, Wiggins, and Badu. Now, these guys do get to run twice in a weekend.
Well, that's right, Marty. You get to run this race car 2 times, because if you run this class as single seat, then you run 11D. If there's 2 people in there, double the racing, double the fun.
And it makes your cost effectiveness for this class extremely good.
Boy, look how tight the racing is, too. These guys are going at it, aren't they?
50 horsepower machines, doesn't cost you an arm and a leg. I would dare say you could probably do the whole 10 race series, buy your car for anywhere between $5,000, maybe as much as 10 if you really wanted to go hog wild, and you could probably run the whole season for another $3,000–$4,000.
I tell you what, I got started in these tame type of vehicles 20 years ago, and I know how competitive they are, how much fun they are, and it's just great racing, great entry-level racing.
Well, there is Mark Oberg. He sort of has stretched the lead a little bit over second place John Heuven, but Wiggins got his hands full for third with Dan Badu, and right behind Badu is Glenn Matthews.
Good racing, Marty. It's where you got to really, really concentrate to get this car through that corner just as efficiently as you possibly can.
I want to know why Wiggins' vehicle looks so clean compared to the other 2.
Well, he might be staying out of line. Remember we talk about the rocks when they have you. That's what...
He's done a good job of keeping the paint job clean. Now that is Badu. Badu in front of Matthews. Badu was the winner back at Anago in this class. Whoa, wait a minute. That's Corey Friday. He is in the pits, and they are changing a tire. That is going to set his efforts back quite a bit. And Jerry Christensen Sr. also has a flat right rear, and he's nursing it around the course as well.
That's what this track is noted for. There's some big rocks around here, and it'll definitely give you flat tires. You get one of those upside your head, it can really, really hurt.
This is the battle for the lead. Heuven has closed down on our leader, Mark Oberg.
He really has. He's coming and taking a different line here. Let's see what he does. He's trying to get inside for a little more speed.
Now remember, no mirrors on these cars. You almost have to feel whether your competitor is right alongside. And boy, right now he can tell because Heuven is in the lead. Can he hold it? He's on the right side of your screen.
He not only feels it, but he can see him now.
Heuven and Oberg. Oberg with that fan that sort of blows the dust and dirt away from his face. It's been very effective for him throughout the race season, and he maintains the lead. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll show you the exciting conclusion of this Class 11S race here in Crandon, Wisconsin at the True Value Off-Road Series. Mark Marty Reed, Ivan Stewart, and Rick Johnson back with you in Crandon, Wisconsin at the True Value Off-Road Series, round number 3. There is our 2 race leaders, and here comes the battle for third. Dan Badu on the right, looking to get past John Wiggins. He's got the line heading into turn 2.
Got the inside line if he doesn't get cut over here.
Wiggins gets out in the loose marbles. Can he hold it? This is a great race. Oh, they touch and no damage yet. Neither one gets launched. Drag race down into the gravel pit. Looks like Wiggins is holding on to the position.
Pitching her sideways. Yeah, I think he's still going to hold it, Marty.
Oh, he's out a little high and then bobbles just a touch. They come around the corner, but he's able to maintain the position.
They're banging. They're touching wheels. No telling what could happen here.
Up over the jump. This is great racing action in Class 11S. This is a battle for third place on the outside. Badu tries it again. Remember, Badu won at Anago, our last stop. Larry Beyer was our winner back at Lake Geneva. And right now, Badu trying to take over third place from John Wiggins.
He's trying different lines, Marty. I like to see that. Instead of a guy trying, just following, he's always trying something new. He's worrying the guy. If he's banging on him a little bit, that's even better yet.
Well, and again, he gets a little sideways. Was that the opening that Badu needed? Yes, Badu is by. Pressured him into the mistake.
That's right. Exactly what he should have done. He played it just perfect.
So Dan Badu has now moved back to third position, but I'm not sure he's got enough time to reel in our 2 leaders. Now, this is something that happened while we were watching that battle for third place. Oh, my goodness, Dave Andrews. Going over 1.5 times.
Marty, I think he just got one tire up on that berm on the inside, just kind of a little bit too tight.
And we can tell you that he is okay. We're back with leader Mark Oberg. And while we were looking at the replay, Mark's brother Mike managed to move into 4th position. Now, this is the battle for 5th with John Wiggins in front of Curtis Gerald and Lonnie Andrews. So Wiggins has got his hands full even more.
These guys are banging on each other. They're going for it, Marty, I'm telling you.
So with just about a lap to go for these guys, maybe a little more than a lap, Wiggins has got his fight for life for 5th place. Coming around the far turn of the gravel pit. And Larry Beyer is the 4th vehicle in there. And Beyer, who won back at Lake Geneva, is currently running in 8th place. 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, right there in your screen.
I really like to watch the different lines these guys have. They all have different ideas on how they're going to get by the guy in front of them.
Boy, John Wiggins gets a little wide there, but he's okay because this will be the inside line on this left-hander.
That's right. You lose one corner, you gain on the next.
And while this battle continues, oh no, another flat tire, this one on Ed Holtger's machine.
Well, I tell you, we've seen more flats this race, Marty, we ever seen in any other racing.
And it's not the tire construction. This course has so many rocks, it beats the death out of you. This is Mark Oberg and Dan Badu. John Heuven has fallen back. Badu has come from 8th position. He has rallied onto the final lap, and he is closing for the race win with Mark Oberg.
Well, I tell you what, Dan has really got serious about it. Really made some good moves. He's really, really running.
This is a final lap shootout between Mark Oberg in the 11:41 and 2nd place, Dan Badu. Remember, Badu won at Anago. He's trying to make it 2 in a row.
Got 2 corners left, so all he got. He got right here at the gravel pit. And one more to the checkered flag.
Oberg, who has led from the beginning of this race. Oh, and he opens the door momentarily, but slams it back shut. One more jump, one more right-hand turn to the checkered flag. Who's going to win the race? Mark Oberg or Dan Badu? Looks like Oberg.
I don't think he's going to have time to get by him. Dan's not going to be able to make it. Just one more right-hand corner. He's got it right here.
Oberg takes the tight inside line, the smart move. Badu tries the up and under. No, it's going to be by a half a car length. Mark Oberg winning a thriller here in Class 11S at the True Value Off-Road Series. What a finish to this great race. We told you it was a driver's championship. It truly is. We're in Crandon, Wisconsin. We'll talk to our winner right after this. Don't go anywhere. Wisconsin, let's take a look at this thrilling finish one more time. Mark Oberg right in front of Dan Badu. He opens the door. Badu tries to dive underneath and couldn't do it.
It doesn't get any closer than that, Marty.
Mark Oberg, your winner. Dan Badu second. John Heuven held on for third. And Mike Oberg, Mark's brother, in 4th. On through the top 10. Let's go down to Victory Lane where Rick Johnson has caught up with our winner, Mark Oberg.
They may be low on horsepower, but it was high on excitement. Mark Oberg, a great race. How important was that #1 starting spot?
It was very important today. It was a tough race going into the first turn because we're all so evenly matched.
Well, Dan Bordeaux was all over you the whole race. He took a couple shots at you. You raced like a champion, and you held off his charge.
It was tough out there. I mean, I seen him the whole time in back of me, and I had to work a lot.
Well, we get ready for our final race of the day, Class 9-10, and this is some high horsepower buggy action and a great field here at Crandon, Wisconsin.
Marty, these guys really fly. Unlimited buggy, co-rider optional, maximum 1,650 cc, about 150 horsepower. These cars really, really run. 17 total vehicles in our Chevrolet starting field from New Lenox, Illinois. Jeff Probst will be one of the cars to beat. Todd Addick. Todd also from Dixon, Illinois in this event as well. Rick Welch from Lancaster, California. He'll be in the number 911. And then the 937 of Randy Eller. Taylorville, Illinois, age 35 is Randy. Jim Struble from Derry, Pennsylvania, age 42. He'll be in the 107. And then there's Tom Schwartzberg. Tom proves there's life after 50. He's from West Bend, Wisconsin. We won't tell his whole age. Jeff St. Peter in the number 912. Jeff from Port Washington, Wisconsin. And here is the rest of the 17-car field. And this is going to be a Donnybrook shootout because, as you mentioned, Ivan, unlimited horsepower. On board with Rick Welch, here we go. Lightweight, lots of action. 20 fast cars.
Welch with hit, and boy, we talked about the stones, the dirt, the dust, and now we got to go outside, otherwise you're not going to see anything at turn one. Oh, a couple of cars getting a little high there. Todd Addick, the early leader. Oh, some contact back about 5th or 6th.
They're banging on each other, Marty, as usual.
Scott Schwalbe looks like he has moved into 2nd. Jeff St. Peter is 3rd. And Jeff Probst is in 4th.
Again, we can see the challenge of the track, the dust back there on that first corner. Now we're getting back into the muddy areas. Always the challenge of off-road racing. You never know what's coming up next.
Oh, and look at the top of the hill. That is Dan Badu. And remember, Dan just finished 2nd in the 11S race. It looks like he's in some serious trouble here in Class 9-10. There's your leader, Todd Addick. Scott Schwalbe, 2nd. Jeff St. Peter, a close 3rd. Jeff Probst in 4th, right behind. Around what will be the finish line area, the battle for 2nd really heating up. Schwalbe having his hard time with Jeff St. Peter.
Well, as we can see, Marty, the dust in some areas is really bad, then we got some slick areas in other areas.
On board again with Rick Welch. He's currently running in 13th position. He did not get a good start.
No, he didn't. We saw the mud. In fact, on the lens of the ESPN camera here, we can see it right now. It's just really tough to see in that mud.
And he's having a little bit of problem making that last turn, and we'll get a little bit of a lens cleaning action, but quickly it goes to oblivion.
Marty, that was a great shot right there. That's exactly what goes on your goggles and your helmet. Exactly the same type of mud.
Now you saw Todd Addick. He is in control in 1st place, but the battle for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, Scott Schwalbe, Jeff St. Peter, and Jeff Probst really heating up. And there's Schwalbe getting a little wide, and here comes Jeff St. Peter.
You'll pay for it. You just can't do that. You get out wide, the guy's going to come underneath you, and that's what's going to happen right here, I believe.
Drag race down into the gravel pit. And on the inside, taking the position, that is Jeff St. Peter moving into 2nd.
Outbroke him, just didn't make the mistake. He can't make those, he cannot afford those kind of mistakes in off-road racing.
And now Schwalbe is under attack from Jeff Probst. So the battle for 3rd is still hot and heavy. Probst on the outside. Can he make the pass stick? Not this time.
Jeff has probably got more experience in off-road racing these buggies than anybody in the field. He's done it for years and years and years.
Jim Struble is in 4th place. Back to the battle there for 3rd. Schwalbe trying to hold off Probst. Probst looking inside, looking outside. Back on board with Rick Welch. He's moved up a position or two to 11th. That is Bill Lefebvre right in front of him as they come under the finish line banner. And again, boy, he's eating a lot of dust.
Boy, a lot of dust, a lot of mud, a lot of rocks. It's tough on a driver, believe me.
Up over that rise. Ooh, hear that stone? That was right up into the camera mount. Now Welch trying to get underneath. Welch too hot and he spins it. Almost all the way around. Loses loses contact with Lefebvre. That's costly.
Lost momentum. Here's the engine drop off on RPM. He lost a lot of ground.
Back to our leader, Todd Attic. Remember, he won at Lake Geneva, finished second in this division at Anago, and right now he's in control here at Crandon in round number 3 of the True Value Off-Road Series. As we got to take a few moments to pay the bills. Don't go anywhere. We'll show you the conclusion of the race right after this. Back in Crandon, Wisconsin for the True Value Off-Road Series. I'm Marty Reed along with Ivan Stewart and Rick Johnson. There is Jeff Probst. During commercial, he managed to get around Scott Schwalbe and take over 3rd position. And Jim Struble has also gotten around Schwalbe, and Schwalbe is now in a battle. There you see him with Randy Eller. Eller in 6th trying to get around Schwalbe for 5th, and he is doing it. So Schwalbe's obviously having some problems.
Yeah, no doubt. He's got some kind of a problem with the engine or transmission. It's hard to say. You guys use 4-speed transmissions, so anything could be going on. Maybe even a clutch. So
now Randy Eller is 5th, Scott Schwalbe is 6th, and Don Ponder is in 7th place, right behind Schwalbe. So there you see Schwalbe, and there was Ponder. You got a quick look at him.
Yeah, he's got to be having a problem with Marty of some sort.
So that sets it for you. There is Schwalbe under attack. Ponder on the outside, far to the right, as he is closing now for the position. The vehicles, as we set it for you, Todd Attic is first. Then it is St. Peter. That's Jeff St. Peter right there in 2nd. And we're back on board with Rick Welch. Now Welch coming around that final turn, getting a little outside there.
His motor sounds flat. I believe that Rick's got some kind of an engine that's not performing like it should be, Marty.
But Welch currently running in 10th position and closing on 9th and 8th right in front of him. So despite what may not be a full song motor, he's doing quite well. In fact, they're closing. In fact, those two get together, and just that quickly, Rick Welch is in 8th position.
That was close. He almost tagged one of them guys.
Oh, and that's Jeff Probst. He's in 3rd position, but he's slowing.
He's got a problem, Marty. Look at the left front of his car. He's got some kind of suspension.
Oh, yes. You're right, Ivan. The suspension on the left. He has just been passed by Randy Eller. Eller has taken over 3rd position. Eller got around Struble while we were watching Rick Welch on the in-car. So Eller making a great run here, moving up to 3rd place. And Jeff Probst is going south with a very serious suspension problem. Here is Brian Bernlohr. He is in the pits. Brian well back in this race, and this is going to move him back even further out of the top 11, possibly even the top 12.
He's trying to explain something. He's got some kind of a problem he's trying to explain to his pit guys. 2
laps to go for Todd Attic to make his 2nd win of the year here in Class 9-10 action. He is in control of the race, has a very big lead over 2nd place, Jeff St. Peter.
I want to make a prediction, Marty, that Todd Attic next year will be in a big truck, one of the 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive trucks.
Well, you heard it first here. Are you going to be sponsoring him?
I didn't say that, Marty.
Well, right now, Todd Attic's definitely making a name for himself in the S.O.D.A World Series of Off-Road Racing. Back on board with Rick Welch one more time. Oh, wait a minute. Rick gets some trouble there. Gets way wide in, drops a position. That'll move him back to 9th.
I don't think he did that on purpose. I think he just got a little hot in that corner and got past.
That was Jack Heinlein who just got past him, and he'll have to try and play catch-up. Don't know if he's going to be able to do it. Whoa, and he spins it. He's got a problem. Look at the shock on the left side. Does he have a leaking shock there? Yes.
Yeah, he does. Look at the fluid shooting out. That was
And Brian Bernlohr is getting out of his vehicle, so his day is definitely done. And now we're on the final lap with Todd Attic trying to make it 2 out of 3. He finished 2nd back at Anago and 1 back at Lake Geneva in round number 1. It looks like he's going to do it here, as he's going to make it 2 out of 3 in the first 3 rounds of racing on the True Value Off-Road Series.
Just watching Todd over the last race that I've watched the last few years, he just very seldom makes a mistake. I think he's really ready to move up a little bit.
Well, the team does all its own engine work, and he credits that for being the key, that they just are able to squeak out a little more horsepower and that they have total control over their own program. And right now, he has total control over this entire race as he makes the final turn and looks at the checkered flag. And Todd Attic, for the 2nd time in 3 events, will talk to us in victory lane with Rick Johnson as he takes the win. 2nd place is going to go to Randy Eller, as it looks like he has gotten around Jeff St. Peter. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll talk with our winner at the True Value Off-Road Series from Crandon, Wisconsin. Today's ESPN Speed World event has been brought to you by Chevrolet. One automotive company has won more races over the last 30 years than anyone else. Genuine Chevrolet. And by Pep Boys. For quality parts, accessories, and service, come to Pep Boys, America's Automotive Supercenter. Well, we'll take a look at the final results here in Class 9-10 action as Todd Attig has won for the second time in 3 events. Randy Eller in second, Jeff St. Peter in third, and you see the list on down through the top 10. Rick Johnson has made his way to victory lane. He's with Todd Attig.
Another convincing win for Todd Attig. You're making it look boring out there.
Yeah, I tell you, Budweiser and BFG car ran great today. We keep putting them in the winner's circle, and eventually I'd like to get in a truck. We just, you know, that's what we're after. We keep winning these races, and we're ready for a new challenge, and we'd like to get in a truck. Just the sponsorship money isn't quite there yet, but we're working on it. We'll be out there soon.
Well, you're running not just strong, but consistent. With 2 wins now in the series and 1 second place, that's got to feel good for the championship.
Yeah, we're real consistent. We do the same routine when we get back to the shop, and it pays off in the end. I think, as far as finishing these races, if we don't win it, we're right up in our top 3. So that's all we can ask for.
I'll tell you, Marty, what's going to make it interesting for these guys and challenging is the fact that we go from Crandon, Wisconsin, which is the fastest track of the whole series, into Luxembourg. It's going to be tight and twisty. It's going to be great racing, I think, though.
All right, we'll be looking forward to that. Our mobile facilities for the ESPN crew are provided by Van Boxtel RV in Green Bay, Wisconsin. That's going to do it for us today. For Ivan Stewart and Rick Johnson, thank you so much for joining us here on the True Value Off-Road Series. We'll see you next time from Luxembourg as we'll be racing again on ESPN Speed World. So long for now, everybody.